Hey everybody, Brendan here, welcome back to another tournament game analysis video. Today we're going to be covering the final game in the Howard Rideout Memorial. So far this tournament, I'm on I'm on an even score. I played a pretty strong opponent round one and learned a very valuable lesson. The second one also I think was fairly valuable as well. Third one was very interesting game as well. Interesting games all around this one actually. I was happy with my play so far. And then this game happened. So I'm playing against Ryan, who's 1673. Let's get into it. D4, I play D5. C4, and I play the Semi-Slav. E3, knight F6, knight C3, E6, and then knight F3. So we just transpose into normal Semi-Slav stuff. Knight BD7, bishop D3, and I play bishop D6. So this is all normal so far. Castles. I didn't take on C4. I decided to instead castle here. And then E4 was played. And I remember having looked at something similar to this before, but I didn't do the preparation. And I spent a little bit of time here wondering if I should take on E4 or on C4, and I swore that it was to take on E4 here. But turns out the best move is actually just to take on C4 and then play E5. And I was a little bit worried about this because, well, now their bishop's on F7. Instead, I went for D takes E4 and then C5. So takes, and then C5, which is not the right idea. They can actually go bishop C2 here, and there's actually just really big problems with queen D3, which is a very brutal way to do it. But this would be bad. Instead, D5 was played, and now the position's actually just equal. I played E5 here, which I was happy to do. And I'm just going to play this like a King's Indian, actually, with G6, F5, because they don't have a E4 pawn. So I was really happy. Bishop G5, I played F6. And then Bishop H4 was played. And I was really close to playing G5 here. I ended up not going for it. So one thing that I calculated was if Bishop G3, then F5, they move. And then, of course, F4 wins the piece. And this is winning. But at the same time, a move like G5, I have to worry about other moves like Queen C2, for example, and turns out this is actually something to worry about. Position's about equal. So I played G6 first. Then my opponent played Knight D2, and now I got really tempted. So I went for G5. Bishop takes H7, and this is actually losing. They should play Queen H5 first, and then after Queen E7, they have the move Bishop F5. And if I take here again, this is a bit of a problem. They have knight e4, for example, and then d6. They get a lot of initiative here. But I went for g5 now because the knight was worse placed. I know they had queen h5 in the position, but and well, that was what I was expecting. But I wasn't really expecting this move. And now it's winning. King takes knight e4. Knight e4 was a little annoying because it attacks my bishop. I decided to go for knight b6. Again, just winning. King g7. Bishop takes g5. F takes g5. Knight takes g5. Here I play bishop f5. Which is fine. g4. I just have to see queen e8 here. Which I didn't see, unfortunately. Instead, I played queen f6. Which is still fine. This is actually still winning. Because after g takes f6, I have rook h8. And we enter this variation with knight e6 check, king g8, and either queen g4 check, where I go king f7, or queen g6 check, going for the trade. This one felt easier for me because takes, and rook h6. They get some annoying initiative though. So king h1. I took the pawn. I should have maybe taken on c4 actually. G6 isn't really going anywhere. But I took on g6 instead. Rook g1, king h7. Rook takes g6, king takes g6. Rook g1 check, king f5, and then b3. So my king's kind of not really placed well on f5. King f6 is recommended, allowing rook g7. And then I can go bishop e7 here. That's one of the ideas. But I didn't do that. I was going for more. So I went rook b8 first. So if rook g7 happens, then no worries. And I was actually just planning to bring my king in and just gobble up the pawns, but it's not really possible. Rook g5 check, king e4, there's rook g3, which is what I missed, which was annoying. I played a5 here. And now the position, they're able to hold on to everything with a4, and it's surprisingly impossible to make progress. I should have played knight d7 and then like knight f6, for example, instead, just bringing the knight in. But I'm silly. They play rook e3 check, which isn't accurate. They should have played a4, king f5, rook f3 check, king g6, rook g3, and then king f6. If they give a check, then I can at least go king e7 now, which is nice. But they went a4 finally, and now I have my chance with e4, rook g4, rook h8, h4. And here we can see kind of the problems with me trying to go for activity before is, well, now it's actually a little bit harder to win. Knight d7, king g2 now. And here I go king f5, which doesn't really do anything. They can go rook g5 check, king f6, and then rook back to g4. They offered a draw around here. I didn't accept. They offered a draw again, and then we'll see what happens. I go rook h6, king h3, and then here I go e3, and now it's actually just equal, unfortunately. Losing this pawn is a big deal. I should have played other moves like knight e5 instead. And the idea here is that we actually have like knight f3 to go after the pawn again. Rook f4 check, king g6. I think of king f7. The problem is now they can take, so you have to watch out for that. King g6, they can't actually do anything there. Rook takes e4. Yeah, actually, no, instead of knight f3, which does also look promising, instead, we don't have to worry about that. We just go knight d3. And after rook g4 check, king f6, now we have moves like knight c1 coming that are surprisingly hard to deal with. And it feels like this pawn should actually fall. Not just that, let's just say they try to hold on to it somehow, like rook e4. It's actually really hard to, because f2 is hanging too, and they have to defend it. There's not really a better way than this. But the second they play that, knight c1 comes, and rook g3 is not possible. So for very specific reasons, this is okay for us, but I didn't see any of that, because I'm low on time at this point. So I played e3, f takes e3, king f5, knight g7, king e5, knight e6, and then I played knight f6. So my king's getting very, very close to being trapped. Rook f4, and here I actually have a chance to win immediately with knight takes d5, which I do not see, because after takes, we're attacking the rook and we're attacking the knight. And this actually just wins the game on the spot. Didn't see this, low on time. I played rook g6 though, and now all of a sudden goes from winning to losing because I missed knight g5. And there's no way to avoid mate on f7 or f3 now. And obviously I'm kicking myself. I missed this here, by the way. I played rook g7 because I was worried of like knight f7 winning my bishop, completely missing that knight f3's mate as well. And my opponent stopped the clock, and I was thinking, like, I'm upset because obviously a 2-hour drive to get there, and then I have like an hour and a half drive home. Less traffic on the way home because it's later at night. And I just allowed a mate from someone who I was like better than for most of the game, winning. I was up a piece, and then I lost somehow. And that's when I realized I should take a little bit of a break. So I took December off from my chess. I'm currently recording this in December. This game still stings, by the way, at the time, because this was only about a month ago at this point. And actually, wait, this is exactly a month ago that I'm recording this, to the day, which is pretty funny. And yeah, the game hurt. It was really unfortunate, and I realized, like, oh gosh, like the Semi-Slav stuff, maybe it's not for me. And so I made an adjustment to my repertoire, because I noticed that I wasn't really playing well in these Semi-Slav positions all year. I gave it a good year. I tried it out for a full year. And that's how I know I gave it a good attempt. And I decided to come up with a rule as well after this game, which is if I ever want to make adjustments to my repertoire, I'm actually going to be taking off Decembers every single month from now on. That's my goal, at least. And let's just say I have a specific weapon that I'm playing as E4, and it's just not working out. And one thing I want to mention here is if I'm playing a bad opening and I just realized that and I change that to I'm playing an opening that people play and it's just not working out for me, I will only let myself make adjustments to my repertoire in December's from now on, because I'll take the whole month off. I'll look at my weaknesses over the year, see, am I happy with this? I spent the full year working on it, like I did with the Semi-Slav, and didn't really work out. So that's when I came to the conclusion that I'm going to be making an adjustment because of this, not just because of this game, but because of this year and how I was playing the Semi-Slav. Very unfortunate game. Again, I think it was like a big thing from this that I learned was, it felt like I was bordering on burnout when I played this one, actually, which was really concerning. Because I felt like really, really like slow when I was playing. I felt like sluggish. I felt tired. It also felt like a health thing too. These are not excuses. These are I want to make that clear, that I deserve to lose this one because I lost focus and I lost my stamina by the end. And this is an analysis of what I think was going on, is that a lot of my losses actually this year were trying to avoid a stamina issue. When I was playing fast at the start of the year, or like halfway through, I noticed I was playing fast, and I think that was because I like knew deep down that my stamina wasn't what it used to be. So that's something I wanted to work on, and something I've been working on all December, is to make sure it's back. And I've been taking like a pretty hard break, not from chess, but just from like from playing, just to reassess and make sure I avoid actually turning it into a burnout like I did when I took a large break from chess before. So I think this was actually a really important game to help realize that, and that's good to know. So that's about it. We have finally covered all of the games from 2022, and that's awesome. So I guess that's it for now. And next time I see you guys with an analysis video, which will be next week when you guys see this, but by the time you guys see a new one, it will be like a month or two later when I've played in a tournament, and I should be a lot fresher at the time, or next week to you guys. I should be a lot fresher, and my analysis should be much, much higher and stronger because, well, that will be because I'll analyze the game immediately. Not just that, I want to also mention that I want to start covering my openings a little bit more in depth, and everything more in depth than these ones. Not just because I was trying to record all these so they're a weight off my mind, so they're all done, but also because there will be a big delay. And this is intentional. I'm sorry that there's going to be a delay, but I will be only releasing these weekly, and I intend to play more than like 50 games a year. So a buffer and a delay will increase over time. But this is intended so I can actually talk deeply about my opening analysis. And not just that, but just my analysis of my play overall, where everything will be about 8 months to maybe even a year outdated, but it will be in depth, more in depth than even these ones, which I tried to start covering in more depth with the openings, like talking about what my repertoire will be at the time. But I don't know. It'll be nicer because when you guys see it, it'll be like a lot of stuff. But by then, by the time you guys see it, maybe I'll switch to something else so I don't have to worry about people prepping against me too much. Just some thoughts. But yep, that's going to cover it. A weight has been lifted off my chest. I finally finished covering every single game. I'm now at 120 games for my tournament analysis. I played like half of those this year alone, which is crazy. I think 58 this year and 62 before I took a break. And that was the course over 2 years, or no, 18 months. So I played just as much chess as I did then in a lot less of the time. Like, it was like 9 months, 8 months. So it was like half the time I played just as many games, which is good. That's actually really good because I didn't really feel as much burnout this time, and I felt like a lot more measured when I was playing and when I was studying. So that's gonna cover it. Sorry for like the huge tangential outro, but that's it. Wait, there's one other thing. When we think about the rating, I also wanted to mention this. My rating went from like 1750 to, after this game, of course, or this tournament, I did lose like 40 points of rating, which is unfortunate. But I went down to like 1920. So that's still like 200 points almost this year, 180, 190-ish points that I gained from the year. That's awesome. If I can repeat that next year, I'm so close to National Master. And that's kind of like a small announcement. I'm really going to try pushing for National Master next year because I feel like there was a lot of inefficiencies in the way I studied this year. And I'm really, really hoping to ramp it up even more next year, now that I've found some things that have been working out for me quite well. That's it, finally. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week with my games in 2023. Bye-bye.